The movie begins by showing a young inventor named Teddy struggling to sell his homemade sports equipment. He creates a video ad to promote his products, but despite his best efforts, he cannot secure any customers. The scene shifts to Utah, where a hitman from Toronto arrives at an abandoned warehouse to meet a man his partner has taken hostage. The hostage, known as a key informant, possesses valuable information that the hitman's boss is eager to obtain. However, when the hitman, Woody, is met with resistance from the informant, he reveals his dark past while menacingly heating a knife in front of the informant. Faced with Woody's intimidation, the informant reluctantly agrees to give up the information. After obtaining the information, Woody quickly leaves the warehouse, leaving his partner to eliminate the informant and cover their tracks. Back to Teddy's home in the city of Yorktown, where he and his wife Lori have just woken up in the morning. As it's Lori's birthday, Teddy reveals his plans to take her on a romantic honeymoon to Virginia as a special gift. However, she brings up their worsening financial situation and the unpaid debts they have accumulated. Despite her worries, Teddy reassures her that today he will pitch a new sport idea to his boss, which he believes will bring more customers to the gym where he works, thus resolving their financial troubles. In addition to selling sports equipment online, Teddy works as a salesman at a local gym and fitness center. With the gym experiencing a decline in customers, Teddy has been distributing brochures on his way to work to promote the business. However, when he arrives at work, Teddy's boss Marty scolds him for failing to include the gym's address and phone number on the brochures. Frustrated by the lack of customers and Teddy's inability to bring them in, Marty decides to fire him on the spot, leaving Teddy disappointed and resigned. Meanwhile, in the bustling city of Toronto, Woody had just returned to his modest home after a long day of work. As he settled into his armchair, the phone rang. It was his boss, the handler, calling with a new mission. The job was located in Virginia and came with a generous payday, an offer too good for Woody to refuse. The handler outlined the mission, 2 tasks needed to be completed for him to receive the promised reward. Without hesitation, he set to work preparing his weapons and equipment. He knew the journey to Virginia would be long, but the potential payout made it worth it. Teddy and Lori had just arrived back in Virginia, eager to begin their honeymoon together. Teddy, wanting to make sure she was comfortable, suggested they stop at a nearby beauty salon for a massage and spa before heading to their inn. While Lori was being pampered, Teddy set out to find the inn, but due to a mix-up with the address, he ended up at a different one. Unknown by Teddy, the inn he had stumbled upon was being used as a hideout for Woody and his team, who were in the middle of a mission to interrogate a hostage. When Teddy knocked on the door, one of the men answered, mistaking Teddy for Woody, and let him in. The man then led Teddy to the basement, where they were holding the hostage, a male doctor named Coughlin. The situation was confusing and overwhelming for Teddy, who had no idea what he had gotten into. His confusion grew as the man ordered him to extract secret information from the captive doctor, Coughlin. Not wanting to anger the muscular man, Teddy reluctantly began the interrogation. Despite his lack of experience, he babbled at length, his face a mask of panic. Finally, Coughlin gave in and revealed the secret code for the explosive bomb launcher. Just as Coughlin finished speaking, the FBI suddenly descended upon the hideout, while pointing their guns at them. They quickly apprehended everyone inside, including Teddy, who was completely unaware of the criminal activities. He was confused and scared and could not understand how he got caught up in this mess. He was taken into custody, and his honeymoon and life, as he knew it, were ruined. After hours of questioning, Teddy convinced the FBI officers that he was not a criminal but just an ordinary salesman who had been caught up in a dangerous situation. After verifying his identity and background, the officers devised a plan. Since Teddy was already involved in the case and knew the classified information about the nuclear bomb launcher code, they asked him to pose as the real Woody, the hitman from Toronto. Their goal was for Teddy to infiltrate the inner circle of a dangerous extremist named Colonel Marin, who was planning a major terror attack involving a nuclear bomb in the United States. Meanwhile, Woody had just arrived at the Virginia Inn, only to find it in ruins, destroyed by the FBI raid. As he sifted through the debris, he came across a reservation letter belonging to Teddy. This was the first time he had heard of the man, but he decided to investigate further. He searched for information using Teddy's full name in the letter and found his address through Teddy's gym equipment sales website. Back with the FBI officers, they were still trying to persuade Teddy to work with them on this dangerous mission. Though the offer was tempting, he was still hesitant, worried about the safety of his wife. However, after the FBI promised to provide a bodyguard to ensure Lori's safety and help him pay off his debts after the mission, he began to change his mind. On his way to Washington, D.C., Teddy contacted Lori to check on her and warned the handsome bodyguard assigned to protect her against flirting with his wife. Upon arriving in Washington, D.C., Teddy immediately set out to complete his mission and meet with Colonel Marin's men. While a secret FBI officer was watching over him, Woody arrived in D.C. after tracking down Teddy. Teddy's first point of contact was Colonel Marin's sister, Daniela. Using the information he acquired earlier, he could convince her that he was the real Woody. She immediately took him to an undisclosed location when he expressed a desire to see Colonel Marin. As the FBI officer was about to follow Daniela's car, Woody appeared from behind and asked the officer to follow a truck that had just passed by instead. On the way to their destination, Daniela explained to Teddy that Coughlin, the doctor Woody's associates had kidnapped, was an important informant for Colonel Marin. And after that, they would meet another informant named Dr. Green to obtain more crucial information. Upon learning that they were headed to Puerto Rico to meet Dr. Green, Teddy could only hope that his disguise would not be revealed. When they arrived at the airport in Virginia, Teddy and all of Colonel Marin's men boarded a plane and set off for Puerto Rico. But just as the plane was about to take off, the real Woody suddenly appeared and revealed that Teddy was an imposter hired by the FBI. Realizing the danger he was in, Teddy tried to prove that he wasn't the imposter by confronting the real Woody. But Woody, fed up with Teddy's insistence, slapped him and began attacking all of Colonel Marin's men present. The incident on the plane escalated into a violent fight, causing the pilot to lose control of the plane. They were all in danger of crashing, but Woody regained control of the plane with his piloting skills. After all of Colonel Marin's men were killed, Woody turned his attention to Teddy, who had been pretending to be him. But Teddy explained that it was all a misunderstanding and he never intended to be involved in the situation. After hearing Teddy's explanation, Woody decided not to kill him and continued with their original plan to fly to Puerto Rico to meet with Dr. Green. Upon their arrival in Puerto Rico, Woody reported to the handler, his boss, that he had found a person assigned by the FBI to pretend to be him. The handler instructed him to kill Teddy as soon as possible to ensure the smooth running of the mission. However, given that Teddy was known as Woody to Colonel Marin's men, he decided to let him live and continue the mission undercover. They went to arrest Dr. Green and brought him to Colonel Marin as their original plan. However, the handler, not trusting Woody's decision, secretly hired another hitman in Miami to go to Puerto Rico and perform the same mission. Before they could go to the tech company where Dr. Green worked, Woody suggested that Teddy buy some clothes and weapons to make him look like the real Woody. Teddy panicked as they were getting ready, fearing that he would derail the mission and put his life in danger. However, Woody reassured him with encouraging words and restored his confidence. He hugged Woody, thanking him for his support. Teddy walked into the meeting room, where several doctors were being held hostage and strapped to chairs, but he still didn't know which one was the real Dr. Green. He tried to act tough and began interrogating them to find out who the real Dr. Green was, but his attempts at intimidation were unsuccessful due to his lack of experience. However, he accidentally finds the real Dr. Green after the doctor vomits on one of the hostages. Unfortunately, once Teddy had identified Dr. Green, one of Colonel Marin's men realized that he was not the real Woody and pointed his weapon at him. Fortunately, Woody arrived in the room just in time and shot the man dead, saving Teddy's life. After all of Colonel Marin's men were killed, Dr. Green revealed that he and Dr. Coughlin had developed a seismic explosive reactor technology, and Colonel Marin intended to steal the technology to blow up the Venezuelan embassy in the U.S. The group realized that to use the explosive, Colonel Marin would need to unlock access that was only activated with a passcode known only to Dr. Coughlin and his fingerprints. They decided to take Dr. Coughlin's finger and began to prepare to leave. However, as they were discussing their next plan, a Miami hitman arrived at the location to take Dr. Coughlin's thumb from Woody and Teddy's hands. A tense shootout ensued between the Miami hitman and Woody, while Teddy accidentally fell and had to cling to a hanging ornament to avoid being hit. Despite their injuries, Woody and Teddy managed to defeat the Miami hitman. Woody then contacted the handler and reported that they had completed the mission's second phase, which was to obtain fingerprints from Dr. Green. On the plane ride back to Washington, D.C., Woody said that Teddy looked like a failed man, and he felt sorry for his wife, who had to go through all the difficulties. Strangely, Teddy wasn't angry at his words and realized that the last few years had been difficult for their marriage. After arriving at Washington, D.C. airport, Teddy contacted Lori and apologized for his mistakes. Later that night, Teddy and Woody, accompanied by Lori and her friend Anna, found themselves sitting in a fancy restaurant discussing their next plans. Teddy appeared at ease in the social setting, but Woody, who had limited experience with such gatherings, felt uneasy and out of place. However, Anna's friendly attitude helped Woody feel more comfortable, and she even asked him to dance. As the dinner party progressed, a Miami killer suddenly burst into the restaurant and attacked several FBI officers who were keeping watch over Teddy. Realizing the danger, Teddy quickly pulled Woody away from his romantic moment with Anna and urged them to flee the scene. Unfortunately, their attempts to escape were thwarted, and they were forced to hand over Dr. Green's thumb to the Miami hitmen. After the incident at the restaurant, Woody and Teddy quickly set off to Colonel Marin's location. Meanwhile, the Miami killer arrived at the hotel with the handler and presented Dr. Green's thumb to Colonel Marin. During their journey, Teddy asked Woody about his plans after the mission. Woody confided that he had worked in this line of work for many years and decided that this would be his last mission. He planned to use some of the money earned from this mission to open a luxurious restaurant and pursue his passion as a chef. At the hotel, Colonel Marin began activating the explosive reactor using the code they had obtained earlier and the thumb they believed to be Dr. Green's. However, it was soon revealed that the thumb they had taken from Woody and Teddy was not Dr. Green's, and the reactor could not be activated. Upon realizing this, Woody and Teddy decided not to reveal that they had the real Dr. Green's thumb. Instead, they devised a plan to buy time until the FBI troops arrived to surround the hotel and prevent Colonel Marin from carrying out his plan to blow up the embassy in the U.S. Once the FBI forces arrived at the hotel and began attacking Colonel Marin's men, Teddy used the opportunity to confront the handler. During the chaos, he managed to buy enough time for the FBI to arrive. But with the mission now over, Teddy felt a deep sadness as he realized that he had failed to keep his promise to Lori, who was waiting at home for him to celebrate her birthday. However, upon arriving home, Teddy was met with the devastating news that Lori had left him, after she had learned that he had been fired by Marty and had kept it a secret from her. As for Woody, he was paid handsomely by the handler for his role in the previous 2 missions. But, after the mission, he was suddenly contacted by the handler, who demanded that he return the money, but he refused to return it. This refusal angered the handler, who hired assassins from various cities to hunt down and kill him. Determined to win Lori back, Teddy rushed to the train station as soon as he heard of her location. On his way, he was ambushed by hitmen sent by the handler from Miami, Moscow, and Tacoma, who demanded that he reveal Woody's location. Fortunately, Woody, who had been tipped off about the assassination plan, arrived at the scene and managed to rescue Teddy, taking him to hide at Marty's place. They fought off the hitmen in a fierce chase and a long fight. However, the handler was not far behind and soon caught up to them with a rocket launcher. To escape from her, they trapped her in a warehouse where she was killed in an explosion caused by her weapon. With the help from Woody, Teddy finally reached the train station and managed to stop Lori from leaving. He apologized for his mistakes and promised to make it right. Lori forgave him thanks to his determination and willingness to change, and they reconciled. A year later, Woody successfully opened the luxurious restaurant of his dreams. Teddy and Lori were living a happy life with the money he had earned from his previous mission. The moral message of this movie is, success can only be achieved through determination and a willingness to seize opportunities. Even when faced with obstacles and difficult situations, one can overcome them with the right mindset and perseverance.